Today is Saturday, October 27th, 2012. It's 6:34 p.m. on the California coast. And up next, does oil drilling cause sinkholes or earthquakes? Dear Earth Talk, what, if anything, fills the empty space underground created by the extraction of billions of gallons of oil? Could oil drilling be one of the causes of increasing amounts of land settling and sinkholes in oil-rich areas? Can it cause earthquakes? And this is by Linda Anderson, Sedona, Arizona. And to answer the question, I'm going to take you back to an article that I reported on E-News just recently. And here we are at E-News, Energy News, and I usually give you updates from this website. And this is one of the reports that I reported on. It was entitled, Scientists Question If Seismic Activity Near a Giant Sinkhole is from Recent Effort to Remove Crude Oil and Gas. And you can look that up if you have it in your videos. Okay, and in it, it was talking about Texas brine removing crude and natural gas from the failed cavern. And they were wondering, not they, but John Boudreau, the director of the Assumption Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, was wondering, and a group of scientists are wondering, if Texas brine's removal of crude and natural gas from the failed cavern may be connected to sharp tremors that have been recorded 4 to 5 times since October 16, as coming from the northwest corner of the Napoleonville Dome. Boudreau, right there at the bottom, cautioned there is no indication of a connection so far, but the group is still looking at the possibility. So they're wondering about these sharp tremors that were occurring in this Napoleonville Dome in northern Assumption Parish. Okay, folks, I'm back here at the article, the original article, and I'm going to read some of it for you. The crude oil and natural gas we drill for the world over is for the most part stored in tiny pores within rock, up to only 3 miles deep in the Earth's hugely dense crust. At such depths, the oil there is under fairly high pressure. When it's removed, other liquids, usually water, move in to take its place, equalizing the pressure in the process. Sometimes oil extractors pump water into one side of an oil field to push oil towards wells on the other side, and the water replaces the oil accordingly. In cases where other liquids don't move in, such as in the North Sea off the Netherlands, the porous rock layer that harbored the oil originally can collapse after extraction, causing slight amounts of land settling, known as land subsidence, in the rock layer surfaces above, but typically no more than a few tenths of an inch per year, is what it says. Hence, in the U.S., land subsidence induced by the large volume extraction of underground resources, including oil and gas, is more common than most people realize, according to the USGS, a government agency which collects, monitors, analyzes, and provides scientific understanding about natural resource conditions, issues, and problems. Flat coastal plains and wetlands near sea level are most at risk from this potential side effect. Excessive groundwater pumping, not oil or gas extraction, is the single largest source of land subsidence, according to the USGS, but the agency cites several cases throughout the 20th century which they say demonstrate how accelerated withdrawal of oil, gas, and associated water from shallow, unconsolidated reservoirs could lower the land elevation, causing minor earthquakes and active faults around oil fields. Subsidence around large mature oil and gas fields that coincide with faults could add enough stress to trigger small, locally based earthquakes as far as 2 kilometers away from the offending wells. And most geologists agree, though, that it is unlikely that oil and gas extraction could contribute to or cause major earthquakes, which are generated at depths far deeper than would be practical to drill for oil or gas. The USGS does suggest, however, that the continual withdrawal of oil and gas and the associated decline in underground fluid pressure could even contribute to coastal sea level rises by lowering coastal land elevations. As for sinkholes, modern oil wells tend to be much deeper than the depth where sinkholes typically can affect people. Nonetheless, in 1980, residents of the West Texas town of Wink awoke one morning to find a 370-foot wide, 110-foot deep sinkhole a couple of miles north of downtown. Geologists suspect the sinkhole formed as a result of historic and, by today's standards, outdated oil production practices in the area, whereby extractors pumped salt water out from underneath the surface and left a void that the above layer of earth eventually collapsed into. Oh, do you see what I'm saying, everyone? Okay. They pumped salt water out from underneath the surface and left a void, an empty space, and that in turn caused the earth to eventually collapse. A second, even bigger sinkhole opened up nearby in 2002. Oops. That's right. So what it's basically saying here is when they pumped out the salt water from underneath the surface, it left a void, and that void in turn caused the earth to collapse, and then an even bigger sinkhole opened up nearby. Okay, under this photo, the U.S. Geological Survey cites several cases throughout the 20th century which they say demonstrate how accelerated withdrawal of oil and gas from some reservoirs can lower land elevation. I'm just thinking about that Louisiana sinkhole right now. Cause minor earthquakes and activate faults around oil fields. Well, that's not good, is it? I'm still thinking about that Louisiana sinkhole as I'm reading this. And it could activate faults around the area, is what it's saying. If there's any faults around the area, well, that's not good. Could cause minor earthquakes, it says. And isn't it close to, well, it's all adding up a little bit here, I think, anyway. There it is. Sinkholes and earthquakes in one sentence. You see, there must be a connection here. Otherwise, why would they be talking about this? Alright, folks, it's up to you to decide. I'm here at a brand new website that I've never been to before. I was doing some research and I was trying to find out what could cause the collapse of the cavern, and what could happen if they still extract the oil and the gas and the water, whatever they're extracting out there. What could happen after they're, after they do that on a continuous basis? They've already taken a lot out of the sinkhole. And here I am, of all places, I'm at California's Adventure Sports Journal.com website. This is where I found this article, would you believe? Yes, they're talking about sinkholes and earthquakes here. Imagine that. And that's going to do it for my report, folks. I'm going to bring you more updates on that sinkhole as it come in. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there. And keep your eye on that situation of the sinkhole. I know we have Sandy, the big hurricane that we're all talking about right now, but let's not forget this sinkhole situation. This is very, very, very important also, aside from the Fukushima radiation. Thank you for watching. Pink out.